Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Lack of Focus, episode 46, List Building. I am your host, Ed Horn, and alongside me tonight, one Mr. Chris Sheriff. Chris, how's it going, my friend?
Good, thanks, Ed.
So we're down, not one but two, man. Sean has got some family things that he's dealing with, and of course, Chad works tonight. So we decided to do an episode all about building a list that we're going to play in an in focus episode later on tonight, or later on on the Patreon whenever you decide to go see it, where we're actually going to both build lists and then actually go ahead and play those. So let's get right into it. So, gee, what did Ed do gaming wise? Not a lot to talk about. So we're going to lean on Chris once again. You've had a lot going on. So what have you been flying lately?
So I got to fly the Nom Lom, Fenro, and Boba Fett list, and that went really well.
Was it
It
Boba Fett or
worked.
Guri? I thought.
Oh no, it was Guri. Yeah, Guri.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You're
it
right.
threw me
I'm
off.
wrong.
I was like, wait a
So
second.
so I played two different games. I played one game with Boba Fett, Fenro, and a mining guild tie, and one game with
There it
Nom Lom,
is.
Guri, and Fenro. So yeah, two games. And did I play any more than that? No, I think that was it. I think that was all I've played.
We even
Uh,
got photos and everything of the non-lom
yeah,
list.
yeah, it was good. It worked how I thought it would. Um, Nomwam was annoying. I could definitely have used him better. I deployed him on the left-hand side of the table, thinking I was not going to expect him to go there because he can only turn left, and he can only turn left, so it was a bad place to put him. But I'd planned to go straight, barrel roll, and then clear my stress, and then talon roll. No,
Oh,
not talon
gotcha.
roll, swoop.
Sloop.
Yeah, so I was gonna like take 3 turns to set up this nice long sweeping maneuver, and failed at the first hurdle because the barrel roll didn't fit past the rock that I was convinced I would fit past. Um,
Ooh.
so I stressed myself for no action, and then had to continue forwards, and then like was doing the one left, one right bank over 2 turns to try and do like the equivalent of a 3 hard turn. Then K turned and then came back in. So,
Yeah, that's how it works sometimes.
but
But we did discuss in the last episode when we were talking about that list. He's not necessarily the key part. He's not the linchpin of your list. It's nice, and if he does some damage, it's cool, but he's not the linchpin of the list.
so his evade dice were on form. I had 100% accuracy from Dengar.
Ooh.
And he rolled. It didn't even matter that he couldn't take focuses because I stressed him because he just rolled blanks to hit anyway. So whatever, Dengar killed everyone. It was fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Um, Worked out well. It was interesting interactions. I was playing against the new Resistance A-Wing pilot, Zizi. Is it? I think it's Zizi, who after she defends or performs an attack, she can spend a recurring charge to gain either a focus or an evade token. But then it was like I had first, he had first player, so it's like, well, do I get my token first or second? Because if I can gain my token, I can then immediately spend it to stop you triggering Dengar. It's like,
Ooh.
well, player order is actually irrelevant. The defender activates their ability first. So Dengar would trigger every time before he got to take the token.
Is that in the rules?
Yep.
Or is that in the FAQ?
No, that's the rules is laid out in the aftermath step for how it works.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That's a little
Right.
nuance in the rules I don't remember catching.
Yeah, so it is defender performs after attacking steps that aren't performing an extra attack. Then attacker performs after attacking stuff that aren't performing extra attacks. Defender, then attacker.
Huh. Well, isn't that nice of FFG to actually lay that out
Yeah,
very clearly in rules? That's awesome.
yeah. Like reading them's actually a useful tool.
Cool.
Who knew? Certainly not I, Ed. Certainly not I. Because I had to look it up again. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I will, in that case, just Dengar you every time. Because so he ended up like, I'm not going to spend my focus, so I can save it so you can't Dengar me. Then I wouldn't use Dengar. I'd wait and see if he shot me with somebody else, and it was fun.
But it served as enough of a distraction, to say the least, to let your other ace pilots do their work.
Yeah, I think I traded Guri for um, Nian Num, where it was like the trick type Nian Num. I dealt with his fireball. I basically murdered Nian Num, and then I had Fenro and Nom Wom, and he shot. Yeah, he shot me, and I killed him with Dengar. It was fun.
Just Dengard him to death.
Yep, yeah,
So ultimately, in the end, he did exactly what you wanted it to do.
yeah. Like, and Dengar had 100% success rate, so I can now retire the squad. Never need to play it again.
Never need to play that one again. It can retire from the annals of X-wing history as a completely perfect list.
Yeah. I do. So what I probably plan on doing tonight is trying to recreate that list, but hyperspace legal. So I'll have to drop Guri, which kind of shifts the focus of it a little bit. So I've got a
Yeah,
couple of ideas. I'm not 100% sold, but I'll come up with something before we finish recording, and then we can go
try
from
it
there.
out.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What about the second list? I know you had mentioned it before, but I don't know if we know all the details on what you were running with the Mining Guild Tide and Boba Fett.
Yes, it's Boba Fett with um uh, Darth Maul. Oh, not Darth Maul, just Maul. Boba Fett, Maul, Slave One, because like,
Why
and
not?
he has seismic charges. That's a word. I'm
Of
not doing
course.
well today. Not doing well. Benro with
Just like the
Fearless.
movie, Chris.
Yeah, with Maul just riding around, just like the movies, just like the movie. And then I have Benro with Fearless and a Mining Guild Sentry Initiative One. And like the only reason the Initiative One's there is because I can't bring myself to have a 28-point bid. So
Too big of a bid for you.
no, it just feels too mean. Um, but yeah, I
It's not a
don't.
friendly list whenever I'm like, yep, I'm always going to go first.
I I've it's either that or I would put torpedoes on things that I really don't want to put torpedoes onto.
Right, because there's no reason to.
Yeah, so um my mining guild tie just flew around literally doing nothing, like taking pot shots at things from miles away, occupying space so that he hopefully bumped occasionally, and yeah, just being an annoyance that didn't die because it's a TIE fighter. It was the game it doesn't die. I'm sure the next one will be the game where it just explodes to a first shot. So
That's what TIE fighters do. Trust me,
yeah,
I know. I've
yeah.
flown enough of them.
Um,
Oh, look at all of them die so quickly. Isn't that amazing?
but yeah, that was a little bit brutal. Boba Fett did Boba Fett things. Fenro wasn't as on fire as he was in the first game. I think in that first game, in the first like two shots, he got 10 hits. So yeah,
Ooh,
he did Fenro things. In this one, he was only like getting like 3 hits from 5 dice. So it's terrible, terrible rolls. I don't know.
variance, my friend. Dice variance.
Yeah, yeah. I don't mind when it's in my favor.
No, yeah, no, of course,
I'm
absolutely.
as I said to Joseph at the time, I'm so good at this game. Look at all these hits.
It does help when the dice favor you.
It does indeed.
So, any other X-wing that you played?
Not that I recall. I might have got games in since we last recorded, but those are the only ones that actually stand out. I've been
Cool.
doing life, lots and lots of like living and being parent and
Yeah, we
uh,
were leading into this and we were in the pre-show kind of thing. Like you
yeah,
said, you were kind of rough and
just
baby's not napping anymore. Now you got to stay up all the time.
yeah. Well, it doesn't help. So I'm trying to like get just stuff done that I neglected when Joe's parents were here because I'm an idiot. Like, literally no excuses. I did a bad job of using my time when the grandparents were here to look after her. So I've got all of the stuff I could have done then. Um, it's been too cold to spray undercoat stuff and get different layering done. So I've been trying to set up my airbrush again, but that wasn't working. So I had to like find parts and
Uh,
fix that. Taxes all the time. So I've
yeah.
got to do mine and Joe's tax return, um, my mum wants me to do tax return for her company because I do Dice Hates tax return. I need to do Dice Hates tax return. Um, I've just right, yeah.
When's your big date? Ours is April 15th.
Yeah, I think it's like April 1st, maybe. I don't. To be honest, I have no idea. I've got everything I need, and it normally takes me maybe 2 or 3 hours once I get time to sit down and start. But
That's
it's
not
just
bad.
sitting down and starting and having like Jill's got to be home because I've got to like ask her questions about her like physio license fees and all of that stuff, and then Evie can't be like trying to use a computer. So
Yeah, oddly enough, that so you need to make sure she doesn't fall downstairs and things. You know, you have to do that parenting thing. Like, what?
yeah, um, but it's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how ours are going to come out. We tend to pay the maximum amount of taxes, and not that I would ever get political on the show because I'm not. What I can say is that the recent changes in tax laws due to new administrations in the last couple of years have not been kind to the Horn family in the last two, to say the least. And I don't know what changed because I've always paid the maximum amount of taxes and I'm getting less and less back every year. And I don't understand that.
Uh,
So,
how you win votes that you squeeze the middle,
yep,
and
that's what
then
it is.
everything gets pushed to one end or the other.
Yep,
It's
that's
like
what
a
it is.
tube of toothpaste. If you squeeze it in the middle,
Yeah, all my money goes that way. So that is the closest in 5 years of podcasting together that I'm ever going to touch on a political topic, ever, because I'm not picking any one side. All I'm saying is this shit sucks. So let's move on to a more fun topic. One that we started this conversation in the off show, in the pre-show, and you're like, nope, no, let's do it on camera. So it wouldn't be lack of focus if we didn't go in a completely different direction. So if you're not a boxing fan, the next
just
15
skip
minutes,
ahead.
yeah, the next 15 minutes may not interest you, but Chris and I started a great conversation about there was a big boxing match this past weekend between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And holy crap, did Tyson Fury whoop the crap out of that man. First of all, I didn't realize Tyson Fury was that big. 6'9, 272. The man's a brick shithouse. And I've never seen Deontay Wilder like just beaten around the ring for 7 rounds. And I said to you in the pre-show, like, I was genuinely surprised that they didn't stop the fight maybe in the fifth, because I don't think Deontay Wilder threw a single punch in the fifth inning or the fifth round. Um,
So
but
I,
definitely the sixth, they should have stopped that fight before they did.
I'm firmly of the opinion that someone in Deontay Wilder's camp needs to be fired.
Are you talking about his excuse? All right, so he did publicly come out and say,
Not as in for not throwing in the towel sooner. Someone
"Oh,
in his
oh,
camp
oh,
needs to get
gotcha.
fired
Oh, well,
because
shit. I got another reason why somebody in his camp should have been fired. So
yeah,
did you hear?
I'd heard the excuse. I saw the clip from a Joe Rogan experience with
Like,
Joe Rogan talking about wearing this like heavy suit or
it
whatever.
was when he came in the entrance thing. It was this big 40-pound heavy suit that they apparently put on like 30 minutes before entering the ring. Like, that's a good idea. First of all, I don't know personally, I don't know that had any bearing whatsoever. I'm not necessarily buying the excuse.
What had a bearing on the fight was Deontay Wilder not believing Tyson Fury when Tyson Fury told him he was going to come at him and keep punching him and put him on his back foot because he can't fight on his back foot.
Yep. And
Um,
I think, and it was, so it was so interesting to me to see the commentators in that fight go, oh, well, maybe his equilibrium was screwed off because in general, don't get me wrong, that first hit that Fury put in him on the third round and popped him and put him down onto the ground. They thought that he'd ruptured his eardrum, which is why he was like
I thought he had
stumbling.
as well.
So did I, and I was right there in the camp. But obviously, tail of the tape after it, he didn't. He had to have 7 stitches to create to
The
sew up a
laceration in his
laceration in
ear,
his
yeah.
ear. But that was not what was his why he was on
I
his
mean,
off feet. Why he was.
it still took a hit to the ear, so
Oh yeah,
it's
no
like his
disagreement.
swags weren't there. Watching him move around the ring, he always had an elbow on the rope because
Yeah,
he didn't know where. When I say I didn't know where he was, I mean in relation to a ring. I don't mean it in that cliche in the boxing. He doesn't know where he is type thing. He didn't
yeah.
know his positioning in the ring, so he was always using that elbow. to judge whereabouts he was in relation to a ring, so he could move around, and it just wasn't good. Like
And that's where, to me
he
personally, the
was
first
in
time I saw him
danger
do
of
that, like,
getting actually hurt.
yeah, and when I saw him starting to put his hands on the rope to try to keep his legs under him, that's when the fight should have stopped. And I
Yeah,
believe the first time that I saw that was in the fifth. It was definitely going on in the sixth.
the thing that I was chatting about this with somebody else the other day, and I haven't rewatched it properly, so I can't. I wouldn't bet my house on this. But when the referee docks Fury the point as well,
Hmm.
that the fight, that's where everything changed for me. It's like, well, Fury wasn't really like beating him in the like giving him a beating. As soon as the ref took the point off him, it's like, well, fine. If you're gonna, if I now have to fight you and the judges, because a lot of people think he won the first fight anyway, so he's already feeling like the judges are going to be against him. He's already now thinking he's going to fight a ref, so he's just going to keep hitting him and hitting him, and he wasn't putting up any defense. So there was no. I think it was bad refing. The ref should have called for a doctor, and I think someone in Deontay's camp needs to really be looked at because the fighter always wants to fight. That's his job.
Yeah, your
the
job is to
the
stop. Is to
corner
stop.
is like it's no good. Like I don't care if he comes out and knocks Fury out in the eighth round. If he's got like concussion and can't speak properly in another 5 years, you didn't do your job. Like
Well, and, see, and that so that's the problem is probably not the right word. Deontay has a magic right hand. Like that dude is a knockout machine.
42 knockouts.
Yeah, exactly. So like at any given moment in that fight, no matter how badly he looked, he could have come around with one good hard right and taken him. Well, I don't because he
I
did.
will disagree in that specific fight.
Well,
He
yeah, in
was
that
never
specific
in a
fight,
position. After a third round, he was never going to be in a position to knock Fury out.
well, and yeah, exactly. He looked like a completely different fighter, but they're of course going off his record, 42 fights.
Yeah.
Like the guy's like a monster.
No, I agree that and there's all the quotes and the cliches about he only has to fight perfectly for like 1 second
Hmm.
because that's all it takes, and it's true. But I
No, I tend
I
to agree with
it's
you.
the first fight in a while where it took my enjoyment out of it because I wasn't watching a boxing match anymore.
No.
I was watching somebody get beaten up,
Yep. I completely agree.
and
I mean,
I
aside from
don't.
maybe that ticky-tacky first round where they were touching gloves and kind of measuring each other up, after that Tyson Fury went at him for 6 straight rounds. Like
Yeah,
it was there at no point in time from the bell of the second round until they TKO'd that in the seventh did Deontay Wilder look anything at all in control of that fight.
no.
No point at all.
And I'm not trying to take away from what Fury did in there. I think Fury is a, now he's matured, shall we say? Because obviously I'm from the UK.
Did you see
I've
the
I
same fight that
watched.
I did? Because
No,
I
it's in.
saw.
I You've got to go back and watch some early Fury fights for how much of a clown he used to be in the ring and what he like the antics he used to get up. You must have seen a clip of him like uppercutting himself and all that. Just because he like used to showboat and do like stupid things. He's
Like,
matured as a like he's a better fighter now. He's the best heavyweight in the world,
yeah,
unquestionably.
no
But
disagreement whatsoever. Scariest one of the scariest fighters that I've seen in a really, really long time. But he did still do the tongue thing. Like, what the what, dude?
yeah,
Like, that's the only thing, the only stain on that fight, in my opinion. It was like, oh, come on, man.
uh, so the only person who could beat Fury is Wilder. Joshua doesn't stand a chance if he
Yeah,
gets in
and
the
that's
ring
the
with him.
fight the fight they're trying to set up.
All right, I think that's Eddie Hearn. Just I'm going to cash out now.
Yep.
This is where I sell all of my stocks in Anthony Joshua.
Yep.
Yeah,
It'll I don't even know if it's gonna be a good fight. I don't
it doesn't
know.
matter if it's a good fight if it sells out Wembley Arena.
And it
So
will. And it will. No doubt about it. I mean,
well,
it'll be interesting to see the reign of Tyson Fury because I mean, again, Deontay Wilder was probably one of the was the scariest heavyweight right up until this fight, and I genuinely believe that Deontay Wilder was going to beat him. I for one happen to agree that calling that fight a draw, their first one, was fair, in that Deontay Wilder put him on his back twice.
I mean,
Now,
if
admittedly,
you go through and score the rounds properly,
and that's where
like
I
you,
will absolutely agree.
so it's a 10-8 round at best if he gets put down. So that's at best for Deontay.
I
So
don't know.
he wins 2 rounds out of 12 by a 4 point margin. If
For
Fury wins every other round, that's a 10 point margin. So it takes it down to Fury wins by 6 points.
yeah, and
So how many of those rounds where he didn't knock him down did Deontay win?
you are correct. I'm not
Like,
disagreeing. I
there's
have a
no argument about with the way that you should score a boxing fight
I
match.
have a hard time though raising someone's glove over their head who got knocked down twice and the other guy and didn't knock the other guy down. And I mean, unless even
As
that
I
one,
said, there is. I didn't say that I believe that he won the fight because he didn't. It was scored a draw. I said there are people who would say that Fury won that first fight.
and they would have a legitimate argument.
I don't know. I don't think there's a legitimate argument to be made that you could say that Deontay Wilder won a fight with Tyson Fury in that first one. I don't think you could say that Deontay Wilder won a boxing match with
Yeah, that's probably a good analogy.
because there are it's a framework and rules for how you score a boxing match. So there
Yep.
we go. Rules as written.
All right, ding ding. So we can mark that in the notes somewhere. That was our boxing. It was just a good. It was a good fight. I'm looking forward to the race. I'm really looking forward to see what happens with Anthony Joshua if they do end up getting that fight together. But I don't know. I
I
think we're living in a Tyson world, man.
It's unfortunate that um he's at his peak now because I don't feel like he's gonna have maybe 3 or 4 more fights and retire with no one to really challenge him
Yeah,
to.
and
Uh,
that's exactly what I was just gonna say.
uh,
Because the closest challenger is Anthony Joshua. I think we both agree that that's almost a no contest.
I
And
think
then
Joshua gets knocked out. He doesn't make it through
and then
five,
who?
4 or 5 rounds. Joshua's
I mean,
out.
you're not gonna get magic with Andy Ruiz again. Like you're not gonna get like that. He's the dude's almost a foot taller than him. So who's even gonna come close? I don't
Uh,
know. It'll be interesting. But you're right. It's probably going to work out that way. He's going to fight like 3 or 4 more fights. Hopefully, he's smart and then ends it there and retires with a belt. And I think that's probably a good way to polish off a career, a great career.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like the UFC's taken a lot of the glamour away from boxing, which is somewhat unfortunate, just from my selfish point of view, because I appreciate a boxing match more than I do appreciate a UFC fight.
And
They're both good spectacles, but I don't know.
this is where you and I agree. And there's a part of me that I like the UFC. I like watching full combat sports. I do have an interest. I am more interested in boxing, and we've stated it before. There's there is painting like a Van Gogh, and there's a Jackson Pollock. So both have their merits, both have their value, both have their fans. I just happen to be in one that I can actually like. I feel that there's more art in one than the other. Boxing is definitely an art form, and I still appreciate it. So it's nice to actually be able to have something to talk about
Yeah.
in boxing because of how the UFC has risen to prominence as the premier combat sport. That boxing's kind of taken a sidestep, but that doesn't mean I'm still not watching.
Yeah. I I think as much as I love Mayweather, he was probably
Ugh.
bad for
Good for
the
money, bad for
entertainment.
the sport.
Like I could watch a Mayweather fight all day long because the guy's a genius and an artist. But
He is.
for the general public who don't want to watch, people want to watch a fight, they don't want to watch a boxing match. And
Uh-huh.
That
Because they want knockouts. They
yeah,
want
yeah,
people on the mat, and that's not the fight you're going to get with Mayweather.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the sad thing is that when you get a fighter like Wilder who's putting people down, but he's doing it quickly, they don't want that either because they don't feel like they've got a money's worth.
Yeah, it's the same thing that
Uh,
Tyson went through. Mike
yeah,
Tyson, the immortal
yeah.
Mike Tyson.
It's shocking because what people actually want is to watch someone get beaten up. They want to watch Rocky. That's what people
Yeah,
want.
yeah,
People
and
want to
that's
watch two people beating the ever living shit out of each other for 12
drag it up,
rounds and then
drag
get
it out to the
knocked
12
out in the
rounds.
last
Yep,
10 seconds.
yep,
And
and that's
like,
just not
no,
boxing.
no, that is like, if that was boxing, I wouldn't enjoy it because that isn't sport. That is something else.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah,
drama.
yeah,
But I'm trying to do my best. When you and I, and I don't know if we talked about this on camera or not, but I watched it on YouTube the next day. I did not watch it live that night because I wasn't paying that kind of money to see a fight as much as I did want to see it. Um, but all of my kids were watching. Like
yeah.
we all sat down and we all watched as a family that fight, and my kids were into it. And of course, my son Jacob's like, "Well, how would that guy stand up against Mike Tyson?" I'm like, "That dude's a foot taller than Mike Tyson. I don't know how that fight would have gone. I love me my Iron Mike, but he is a different kind of monster in that ring."
Tyson against Fury. I don't know, man. Like, I think
I know where I have my inclinations, but I am extremely
it was
biased.
bias, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
nostalgia is
because
is a horrible thing.
it is, in my genuine, honest opinion, 22-year-old Mike Tyson was the best boxer I've ever seen, hands down.
I
It
don't.
was a
So the problem I have with that statement is that it was the heavyweight division at the time is
you can only fight
you,
who's in front of you.
yeah, yeah. I and
Was
that's the
the Michael
problem with.
Spinks fight a real fight? No. Did he have a title that Mike wanted? Yes. Did he have to go through him to do it? Sure. But you can only fight who's in front of you. That's
Like, I would argue that Fury has fought harder fights than Tyson
oh
did.
yeah, especially with Deontay Wilder in the division. I would agree with that.
Even like the Klitschko's.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um,
Oh, all right, all right. So
yeah.
Klitschko in his latter years, can we at least confirm like Klitschko is another one of those all-time classic greats in my opinion. Holy cow, was that guy a
Just
beast?
let me do this for a little bit. Oh,
He
just gonna hold my fist out and like just touch you. I hate that.
I'm not.
I hate.
You could push the same argument for the same style that we, as much as we hate to admit it, admire what Mayweather was able to do in the ring. Klitschko had his own style and his own clinic, and how he like.
So I could have trained Vladimir Klitschko. It's so frustrating to watch because it is a crisp jab, lean in with your right, so it goes over the top, and then clinch. So
Yep.
you're landing 1.5 punches, and they get half a punch back. So you just win on points. Like that's it. It's one
How
two,
is
one two.
how is that any
Oh man.
different than the unbreakable wall of Mayweather's defense? I mean, I'm not. Because if I have to give Klitschko in for his clinic on how his particular style of
Because
boxing,
Clay Mayweather makes so yeah. He Will Smith's in Men in Black. You know, he just makes his shit look good.
he does. He looks. I will not disagree that he looks prettier doing it.
I mean, it may be racist, but like the Klitschko's are just big white men, so they don't look good, man. Can't don't know what to tell you.
All
The
right,
Beast from the East, terrible.
all right. We'll leave it at that. It is a question for another time, but I personally, like I said, I still think Tyson had to fight who he had to fight. Each of their own. But all right, I got to get off this so I can talk boxing all night. All right. So we were. I don't think we even mentioned this yet. We were going to intentionally make this one a shorter show. So what else would you like to cover before? I mean, obviously we've got a couple of news announcements. Obviously, the new wave is recently out. Go out and grab your fireballs if you want them.
Yeah, I think like with there's probably stuff we could talk about if we were a different X-Wing podcast, but nothing that really held my interest enough to want to go over. Like there's been events and things, and people have won stuff, and we did really well, and I I
There's
just
some,
I just don't care about competitive X-Wing anymore. I
yeah.
I'm
Don't get me wrong.
sorry, like
I'll still watch
we're
Worlds.
literally 30 minutes in, so just everyone can turn the show off now. I'm done.
I'll still watch Worlds. I still watch Gold Squadron just to kind of see what's going on. But that's mostly because I have a fond admiration for Dion and the work that he does, and I want to support him by getting him those views and getting those at least kind of
Yeah.
keeping somewhat present. But yeah, all right. I think that's good. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building lists to play for our lack of our in focus, where we're going to sit down and play Vassal game on YouTube for you guys. So where to begin? Prior to recording the show, we randomly selected for myself a faction to play, and oddly enough, it came up Rebels. So let's go there.
So I think let's do me first because I'm kind of
Sure.
done. So I definitely want to try and take as much. So I want to build a hyperspace list because it's Star Championship season at the moment.
Okay, so let's make
So
sure we've set that standard.
and I definitely want to fly non worm because that shit was funny.
It was pretty funny.
So I've got 44 points in. Then I need a crutch. So my choices for my crutch are either Fenro or Boba Fett.
Hmm.
Boba Fett's 85 points base. Fenro's 68.
Yeah, but Fenrir throws the dice. He
Yeah.
slings them.
So I'm gonna go Fenro with Fearless because that totals at 115 points. So I feel like I can still get two ships in there. And I want to run four ships. I don't want to run three because I feel like my nom list does really well against three ship lists, and I think that they inherently have weaknesses that are more easily exploited by ship kind. So
I would agree with that statement in general.
that's where I'm at. So now I've got 85 points to spend. I probably don't want to spend all 85 of them. I don't think I need a huge bid with Fenro, but maybe a 3 to 5 point bid. So call it 80 points that I've got left for two ships. So I'm looking at generics.
Probably not a bad idea.
So my choices then look at Fang Fighters. Skull Squadron Pilot is Initiative 4. Zone Recruit's Initiative 1, and it's a 6 point difference. So I can't get two skulls. That's 9 points over. I can get two Zealous Recruits. Have a 3 point bid. So that fits. That's in the margin I just spoke about.
Yep, exactly where you want to be.
Yeah. Or the other thing out, so this is the bit that's kind of been bothering me. If you open up the M3A tab, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them. There's a lot of stuff in there to pick from, and they're all really cheap.
That is a long list.
Yeah, like I could do a Tastani Point veteran.
How many points do you have left?
I've got like four. I can spend 40 points a ship. So something like I could do two Tastani Point veterans with fearless and auto blasters, and still have like a huge bid. Uh,
Yeah.
And like auto blasters, if I get someone at range one in bullseye, that hurts.
Yeah, it does.
I could go with where's it gone? I could go with ion cannons and have control. It's still only 38 points a ship, so my bait is still on the higher end. But it's I don't know. I want to do Tasani Point Veteran. I want to do something with M3A, but
That's not a
the
bad idea. I like the Auto Blaster on that. I really do.
Oh, what about which of the name ones have talent slots?
I was just looking at that. Sunny
So,
does not.
so Leighton and Quinn. I can't take Quinn because the ability is useless.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis Red.
Cirrus is one of the ones that jumped out at him, but that's your 40 points right there. That's actually over. But you can do
Yeah.
Cirrus in a generic.
What
But
about?
if you're gonna pay for that talent slot, you're gonna want to at least put something in it.
Yeah, I could do Fearless upgrade. She's too expensive, and you get
Yep.
too many points.
Yep.
Um, Iron Cannon, so that's 50 points. I've only got 30. No, terrible.
Mm. What was the talent you were thinking of taking with her?
So I want to put snapshots in. So I feel like if I do to 30 point veteran with
I was just
snapshot,
gonna say that.
it's 36 points, and then I could throw a cannon on. But it's whether I do. Does it have to be a cannon? Could I do? No, I don't want to do Magpul. Yeah, I think it has to be a cannon. I could do auto blasters and just try it. For 39 points a ship.
Yeah.
30 point veteran snapshot. Yeah, I think we could try that. That gives me a 7 point bid.
There you go.
I could change them to ion cannons and have a 1 point bid, but that's a little bit on the low side. Um, is
And they
there a
don't hit as hard.
yeah? Well, maybe they do because the cannon can shoot out at range 3 with a 3 dice. So
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a wash, but you gain control.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Um,
it does set them up for Fen to come in and knock them down.
yeah. The other one I thought about, if I put contraband cybernetics on Namwam, it lets him do an action when he's stressed. If I need to turn right, I can still get an action once, just once,
Once. Just once.
and that might help. I don't know, um,
The one
but
time it comes in handy.
that's a 5 point. We'll keep it at the 7 point bid for now. I think I need more practice with the list anyway to figure this out.
Well, at least the meat of it, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like now I've lost Guri, which is the big like end game ship. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of weight for Fen to carry. Fen has to live now, so I kind of have to adjust the playstyle there. But I gain being Hyperspace Weagle, so that's a big gain if I want to play in hyperspace events. Let's be
Yep.
honest. If I want to play the
And
list in
that is where we are now.
yeah, and then Snapshot is good because it's just cheating. Um, well, it's a good counter to other aces. Um, Auto blasters might work. Who can say? Right, so
Auto Blasters with snapshots pretty good though.
I so I can't use the auto blaster attack on the snapshot roll.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because they're two separate secondaries.
Yep,
But
yep. I forgot about that.
um, the good thing is if I'm ever out of arc and roll a crit with the auto blaster, you can't cancel it. That part of the ability is separate to the bullseye part of it for rolling an extra die. So
Hmm.
I think that's where I'm gonna go. I think that's where I'm gonna go. I thought I'd be relatively quick and easy.
Yep.
So there we go. I'm not going to type it all in because it'll show up on the recording. But yeah,
Yeah, of course.
that's that's my list. That's what I'm going to play tonight.
All right, cool. All right, so we're looking at Rebels. So I've never been one to list cater. So like I'm not going to sit down and build a list specifically to try to beat Chris's list. Because the first thing that jumped out to me is I'm looking at all the rebel ships. I only have one option. One to meet your initiative.
Han
And that isn't a
Solo.
YT 1300. And I don't like that option. I like Han, but I don't like that option as being my counter, especially at the points cost that it's going to come in at. Because Han coming in at 80 points. Although the idea of Han and Boba on a table does feel kind of
Yeah,
thematic.
yeah.
Kind of
I
thematic.
I'm glad you ended up with Rebels because this has been the one that I've really been struggling with the most. I I, I just don't know.
All right, well, so I'm now going to I'm going to take myself out of my
Yeah.
comfort zone. Originally, I was going to say no to this one, but let's do it anyway. So let's start off with Han Solo at 80
You
points.
want so we're going Han. Going Han. So the only Rebel list I've managed to make so far that I felt happy with does have Han in it. So
Okay.
I'll see if I can pull this up. We'll see how close you were to doing this anyway.
So do we consider Leia basically a must if we're going to run the YT 1300 and
I did not take Leia, so
hmm.
I have a three ship list. It's Han and two generic B wings, and I don't know that it's actually good, but so I went with Han, engine upgrade, Nian Num, and K2 So.
Hmm.
Then I went with two Blade Squadron veterans with stabilized S foils, passive sensors, and auto blasters.
Yeah, I could see that.
So you cruise up, you take your passive sensors. If somebody lands in front of you, you get your target locked, and then theoretically you can fire 4 shots a turn with your B wings, and Han still shoot something.
Yeah.
But I am not convinced because it's a three ship list, and
Yeah.
I don't like it.
All right, so let's put that on hold for a second. So I think
So
if there are
I do have an idea. So let build.
I'm
I think
listening because I'm going to say if the next words out of my mouth were going to be so if there are cards that are stapled to this frame, engine upgrade is definitely one of them.
I don't know whether even engine upgrade is. The reason I went engine upgrade was because I was taking K2, so I didn't want to end up double stressed. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at layer instead, I don't know that you necessarily need engine. If you treat the boost as a I done gone fucked up and need to get out, then you just
You
take
can
the red
pop
boost.
Leia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the only gunner you can take is agile gunner. The title doesn't feel worth it anymore because you
No.
can't get enough actions. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Um, yeah, I think Nyan Num is a solid choice. I think Lando's actually a pretty good choice. If you're gonna take Lando, then I'd see taking a Falcon title. So you could do that for 85 points. You can't take Trick Shot anymore. So do you even need?
A talent for Han? Probably not.
No,
Selfless, maybe.
I don't want to take damage onto my like 85 point ship. Yeah.
Hmm.
I could
Hmm.
see. I mean, 85 points is still pretty cheap. So let's go with Lando and the Falcon title and literally nothing else for now and just see how this rolls out.
Okay.
Because I feel like this might fit. And if it does, it could be nasty. So I'm just going to keep clicking buttons until it says that I can't click buttons anymore. Okay. No, you can only get three. It's unfortunate. Um, I was looking at that Han, and then you can get 3 Phoenix squadrons with snapshot. So
Hmm.
3 Initiative 1 A-wings and all double tap, hopefully, if they land at
What
range
was
2
it?
of
What
you.
was the talent? I'm sorry.
Snapshot. So you get your
Hmm.
extra shot in the movement phase if you land at range 2.
Hmm. It's basically like a light thought Han.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hmm. I don't know.
I I think I would so you only save 1 point by going down to Lando. And Lando's ability is really, really good, but I don't know that there's the other ships in there.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're square pegging round hole here. I think we're
Yeah.
trying to force the Falcon into a good position, and there just isn't enough room to
No,
do it.
I agree.
All right,
So
so let's scrap that.
now
So
what Initiative 6 is gone then. We
yeah,
accept
so that's
that
it.
we
That
can't hit 6.
exactly. So then the question becomes: do we go Rebel Beef with some regen to kind of just be able to absorb some of the hits and like throw back, hit harder than we take the hit?
I
Do we
mean,
go Ace maneuverability?
I don't know that you can. Like, you don't
Yeah, because
have
you don't.
anyone who's. You've got the maneuverability in the A-wings,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't have the initiative. And if
Right.
you want like the initiative 5s, you don't have the dials.
So in that instance, we should just go Beef.
I think uh, I
Eh,
think for my so this feels really weird to say, but I think there might be something in that mid-range initiative for the rebels where you try to just PS kill your swarms and then have enough beef and shoot into pressure the aces. But I really feel like you want to be hitting 5 ships.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking too.
So you've got a 5x, but it leaves you with no options at all.
None.
So I think I don't think a Phoenix Squadron with Snapshot is a bad place to start.
All right, let's do that.
That gets you a ship on the table, 36 points. Use it for blocking, occupying space. It covers areas of the table and makes it tricky for people to position. Um, and then then we could try and fit 4 better ships rather than like 4 more standard like B
And this
wings.
is this. Yeah, I was just gonna say this is the interesting part whenever it comes to rebels at hyperspace. So, what are the good ships? I mean, sure, Luke's in there.
So
A couple of the named B wings, but beyond that,
okay, I feel like no, that won't work. So we
because
could
if you
do
wanted to, you could max out B wings at 200 points.
yeah.
There's no initiative bid though.
So what about feel good? Niam Num. Do you put a cannon on him if he's going to shoot? Yeah, yeah, you do. You can't take jamming beam, but you could take a tractor beam Niam Num. So this might be one to ask your TO about first, but we'll
Wait,
get there. So Nian Num with stabilized foils, tractor beam, and fire control system.
wait. Where's Yeonum's in the?
10 Num, sorry, 10 Num.
Okay, I was gonna say. I'm
10
looking. I'm
Num,
like, I
yeah,
don't think I see him.
yeah.
So 10 with.
Stabilized S foils, fire control system, and tractor beam. I personally am in the camp that doesn't actually work together. So let's say that I'm right and we take it so you don't have fire control system. So it's 53 points,
Mm-hmm.
but you could still. So now what we want to do is make sure he's our highest initiative. So maybe we'll have passive sensors on him. No, you can't take passive because then you can't activate his ability.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. Um, yeah. So how are we gonna do this? 53 points. Just weave him there. Let's just weave him there. I can't think of anything good to put on him, so let's just weave him. So now we want some more initiative shooty ships. You can have a normal B-wing with nothing.
Okay, we'll go naked there.
Yeah. We're at 130 points, so we've
Mm-hmm.
got 35 points per ship if we want two more ships. Too expensive, isn't it? Yes, I feel like we've got to drop tractor beam then. That doesn't work. Keep the foils because why
Why
not?
not?
You still get the barrel roll into a target lock, which
Mm-hmm.
lets you stress and target lock him, which he can then spend his stress as a focus.
Yep.
Um, then do you have to go 2x then? No, you're 7 points over, so you'd have to drop snapshot.
This looks very similar to the list we played the last time.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's the only kind of thing you can really do.
2x.
You could
And an
have a grey squadron, but it just feels
mm,
bad, man.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, I feel like if I have to take a second A wing, okay, let's have a look. We did it 3 B wings and 2 A wings, maybe. What can we do with that?
Like three naked bees.
So keeping the tandem, can I get something that I like? 3 point. So yeah, I don't think you can't run them both with snapshot if you want tandem. Okay, let's try. Sorry, I'm kind of like.
No, I'm right there with you.
So if we do 2 Phoenix squadrons with snap, that's 72 points. Then how many B wings can we squeeze in there? You get 3 and have 5 points left over. So we could upgrade them to blade. Or you can throw in an X-wing. No
So
bigs.
the list that we talked about before when Sean was last on the show. I'm just gonna kick this one out there because it's one
Yeah,
that I was actually kind of excited to look at.
yeah.
Was 4 B wings with a naked Jake Farrell.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And basically Jake's job is to follow and throw around focus tokens where he can.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like at the moment, how I feel like the meta is, I would rather have a Phoenix squadron with Snap than Jake.
Can you explain the thinking on that, just out of curiosity?
So, in a perfect world, I'm getting 6 shots a turn now, rather than one shot from one of the B wings that's slightly better.
Yeah.
And
Granted that,
yeah,
but granted that those 2 of those 6 shots are 2 attack die attacks.
yeah. But so if you go to so 5, either way, you've got 4 attacks. Oh, okay. Let's take it all the way down. So you've got three attacks from B wings, which are just going to be focused. You've hopefully, if you can set it up, got one
Target lock.
shot that's target lock focused, and then you've got no. So no, that's wrong. If you've got Jake, you could if you barrel roll and boost Jake,
Mm-hmm.
he could give two guys a focus action that aren't him.
Two guys?
Yeah, I'm just gonna double check that I'm reading that ability right. Yeah, after you perform a barrel roll or a boost action, you may choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1. That ship may perform a focus action.
Oh, snap. I didn't read it that way.
Yeah,
So he could barrel roll into one, give a focus,
yeah,
boost,
yeah.
give a focus.
So then he's a two dice attack that's unmodded, and he has no defense. But
But,
two of your shots could be focused, but they would have had to been able to establish target locks, which means we're a couple of turns into a game. Like this is an opening engagement because you're probably moving first.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
You're
I
leaning more towards
feel
a snap.
yeah because he's a better blocker, and I think he occupies table space better. I don't know. I feel Jake's really good. Like you can evade. No, you can't evade boost for that's wrong. I'm just
Mm-mm.
bad at the game. Yeah, you can't double stack him. Yeah, like he can do some funky stuff, shall we say?
That he can.
But I don't. I don't know that it'll be enough. Or I don't feel like I'm good enough with Jake or with an A-wing to do that, especially when they can't shoot out their butt. Yeah. Sorry, Ed. I don't feel like I'm helping you anymore.
No, no, we've gone back and forth on this one. All right, so we don't want to
Yeah.
burn too much time on this one. So why don't we go with the Phoenix Squadron, and then we'll keep in mind like what would Jake have done in this scenario? Well, we're gonna fly it differently too.
Yeah. In this instance, I think I'd fly the blues, not necessarily in a block, but maybe in two groups of two, relatively close to each other, just so I can cover a wider part of the table. And then have the Phoenix dropping in around them, so it can try and like have that range two band covering off areas. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe one snapshot isn't even scary. So
Maybe.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like Rebels are the one I'm struggling with the most. I feel like I would just go 5 X-wings and hope, which just is a massive feels bad man for squad building
Yeah.
because it just doesn't feel good. Yeah, I, it's the only faction where I honestly feel like I've got my hands tied behind my back with the options that I have.
Yeah. Which is an like I said, it's interesting how the dice came out like that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So, are you gonna go with Jake? Well, that was the one you initially thought of, or are you gonna go with Phoenix?
I think
Did I bully you too much?
no, I don't think you bullied me too much. I think I am gonna stick with Jake for now and just see how it goes.
Yeah. I definitely think if you get a matchup where if they're flying initiative threes, I feel like you could do a lot of work with Jake and get value out of him. But I'm still in that 1.0 mindset of all or nothing when it comes to initiative bids. As but like it's
That's why I'm
five,
at 200
yeah,
points.
it's five or nothing for
Mm-hmm.
initiative. And I don't care what it is. It's either one or 5 or 6. That middle bands, it's very matchup dependent, and that depends on your local meta and what you've seen a lot of people are flying a lot of vultures, and maybe you want the initiative fours because it kills the initiative three vultures. Without, I don't know. Best show ever. Chris says, I don't know a lot.
Oh, I should probably pick rocks. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, I
well,
already did that. Look at that.
so what do you
I
reckon?
may I may have had this saved before I started. So ultimately, in the end, I ended up with the list that I was gonna. When I
You
went rebels, like, oh, this is a rebel list I've got built.
the one you were gonna run anyway.
Yep, it works. But at least we talked some sense through it.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. It's good having an extra voice to bounce those ideas off.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I I want to make a YT 1300 list work, but I don't think they do. I want
And
to
we talked
do
ourselves down from that really quick.
yeah, I want to do stuff with the A wings, but I just don't. We don't have enough in the tank when they can't shoot backwards.
Yep,
Um, X wings, it's 5x or nothing. I don't think there's enough value in them. Like Luke it's a really good ship, but it doesn't have anything to fly with him.
yeah, he needs
Like
the help.
if you're taking Luke, you've got to take protons, or else or at the very least you're looking at like maybe plasmas, but you might as well spend that four extras for protons. You're at
Exactly.
75 points.
And then you're in
So
hand territory at that point.
like you, it's that ship count again. It's like, do I really want it? Like now I've got to put a cheap A wing in there as well to balance out the fact that I put a lot of ships in here to get to that magic four ship number I'm looking for. Because especially with rebels, I don't think you can do a three ship list and enjoy it. I just feel like they'd get picked on too much. Like, can you imagine? So you've got to take a B wing if you want. So you've got Gina because she's initiative five. We'll give her oh, what she wants um, configuration, and I don't know, give her a cannon maybe just for shits and giggles, so she can double tap maybe. We'll try and live that dream. That's 130 points. So now we're playing the initiative five game, so we go Thane Kyrell, he gets torpedoes, and we've got a 9 point bid. That's no astromechs, nothing else. Probably put an astromech on Thane so we can clear the stress that Gina's going to give him. Yeah, so you've got a 7 point bid for initiative fives. Maybe you put talents on someone. Alright, so you fly Gina at me and I snapshot her to death because she's an initiative one ship. So yeah. I I feel like most lists kill one of your ships in a turn, so you need to get that alpha strike off for your torpedo. You're definitely just playing a dice game at that point of do my torpedoes remove a ship before I take too much damage? And you probably need to kill two if you're gonna win. Yeah, yeah, that's hard. So yeah, I feel like we're back to a point where we just were of you having four B wings and Jake, and you're muted, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I muted whenever I was hitting my vape, and I forgot to unmute.
It's okay.
Yep. No,
I was just talking anyway.
that's okay. I was mostly agreeing with you because
A long monologue of uh,
I was mostly agreeing with you anyway.
yeah. I don't see it. I don't. There's probably something with Y wings. Like I think me and Sean looked at a while ago when we're just doing like massive beef and just push them forwards and aim to go to time and hope that they didn't kill you quick enough. But without veteran turret gunner, even
Uh
that,
huh.
yeah. So I think rebels are the bottom of the pile for hyperspace at the moment.
Yeah, I tend to agree. So
So
this will be a good fight.
yeah, if you disagree with that statement, you know,
Let
feel
us
free to let
know.
us know. What are we missing with Rebels? Why can't I make a list that I like for Hyperspace Rebels? Yeah.
These are fair questions.
So find us on Facebook, I suppose, like a Focus Podcast. You can email us the reasons why we are bad at the game at lackoffocuspodcast@gmail.com. If you feel like the show's betrayed you because we just said we didn't care about competitive X-Wing anymore, you can send us feedback on that as well. Um,
Yep,
but
let us
no,
know.
thanks to all of our Patreons who've been supporting us. It's been really big help. I'm going to be sending out those Spy versus Spy cards, which I can actually show you now. I've got a couple of them here.
Woohoo.
So there is the Sunfac.
Oh, that's cool.
There's the Shuratech.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And the Ensner is a bomb. But unfortunately, I said we gave them away because I only had 2 sets. So, um, yeah, sad times.
Sad times is what it is.
Yeah, and yeah, they'll all be getting sent out this week probably. As I say, I'm just terrible at life at the moment, so sorry. The people whose Roger tokens got lost in the mail, I'll be sending the replacements out as well.
Oh no.
A couple of guys in the UK, one of the friends got them, and then other people just didn't. So I'll send them out again. Hey ho, sad times.
It is. Royal Mail. We'll blame them.
Yeah, probably. But Discord's been pretty good. So make sure you're in the Dice 8 Discord. Been chatting about some X-Wing stuff in there. People have been posting their repaints and things like that. So yeah,
Yeah, someone put a skull on the intercept or the
the
infiltrator.
Sith infiltrator, yeah, Darth Maul
Ooh,
looks pretty neat.
it does look
Um,
really neat.
I'm looking forward to it. He said he's going to put a red stripe on, which I think it's really going to make it pop.
I
Uh,
agree.
so that'll be cool. I'm going to do a repaint of the Jump Master to match Nom Wam.
Ooh.
So one of the reasons why I've been trying to get the airbrush set up and everything, so I could do that. So,
My whopping last models that I actually applied paint to were my Jump Masters back in the days in first edition when they were running 3 of them. I made one red and one blue and one green so that I could distinguish between which one was which on the table.
so
Woo!
I didn't actually own a Jump Master when I made that Nom Wam list.
Oh,
So it's
really?
like it's fine. I sold all my ships to the store, and then rebought stuff as I was running them. So it's like the store will have a lot of them used because no one's running Jump Masters. I went on and we only had one left in the store, and its peg was broken. I was like, I'm not going to pay money for one with a broken peg, even if it is discounted. So I
Was
went,
it the peg that actually holds the model itself, or just the
yeah,
peg?
the peg that holds the
Oh,
model. So because it's the jump master's off to one side, so if you
uh-huh.
push it centered, you're not pushing it centered, so you put extra pressure on it.
Yep.
Um, so I was like, that's fine. I'll just buy a new one. It's got a nice engine flow effect in the new one anyway. And then I immediately broke the peg on that one.
Oh, oh.
I literally putting it away after the first game, broke the peg. So, well, I'm glad I didn't buy a broken one.
Yeah, no, I think I was reaching the point. The Tie Fighters were notorious for that too, because you try to put them down on the pegs, and then because they have those little spindly bits, that's the only thing that holds on the solar panels on the side. Like you put them down and you would snap one. I've got like 3 of them that I've done that to, and super glued to death. I'm like in the camp for those guys that actually put like the rare earth magnets on it. That's the way to go.
Uh, there's loads of people in Calgary do it, but I'm too set in my ways. Uh, they come with a peg. They must have a peg.
I I understand, but I was the guy that used to run like aluminum flight stands in 40K. Man, I got tired of snapping those damn things.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
again, for those of you that have never played Warhammer in any way, shape, or form, they've got these big, gigantic 60, 80, 90, $100 models. They put one little thin plastic peg to hold it up. And God forbid if you put it on the wrong piece of terrain, it tips over, snaps those damn things right off, and the peg goes in the model. You're never getting it back. So I always went with aluminum pegs. It was the best way to go.
Yeah.
And these it wouldn't help because the part that's breaking on these models is not the pegs themselves. It's it's the actual holder. It's the actual female connector to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I probably will have to magnetize some of them, maybe.
Yeah, at some point. I broke enough pegs in my time that all right, so you get to the point where you own as many ships as we do. We've got enough pegs floating around that if you snap a peg, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm actually one base short now because I took everything to the store and I've been buying it all back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm missing one medium base for it's a bounty hunter that I repainted to be with green and grey from the actual old card. So he was on the big base in the display cabinet in the store. So I never accounted for it when I grabbed my medium bases. So he's just sat on the floor, not on a base. I went, I should probably find one.
Probably. They do sell those.
Yeah. And then
you get extras.
I've got a lot of coloured bases now. I have the Trade Federation are all on orange. Resistance are on purple. First Order's on red. And all of my Jedi have a stand that matches the color of a lightsaber.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. The only thing I ever did with painting bases is I painted them black. Because, all right, long way back, in covered wagons and black and white TV days when X-Wing first came out, all everyone ever did was put star mats.
Yeah.
That's all it was just black space star mats. And to be able to just have a black peg with a black with a black base, really cool.
I had 8 bases that were all black for my 8 tie swarm.
Yep, I did the same thing.
Those were the days.
And then I went as far to put like stick tack underneath the bases so that they weren't sliding all over the places.
The punishing one I bought, the base was curved at the corners. It was all so it was a ball. So the number of times it kept spinning on the table. I was like, it's like, do you care? I can go and replace it now, or we can just play this game out because it's non-1. He's gonna be pointing his arc at you anyway.
Doesn't matter where he goes.
Yeah, just keep shooting him. He's gonna shoot you back. It means that fine arc line is irrelevant.
Yeah, it'll be fine. All right, so I think that's going to do it for this. What was supposed to be a short episode, but I think we ended up going for a pretty good long time, actually.
I think we're on like an hour and a half, an hour and 20-ish, probably.
Yeah, that's a short show for us.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I do appreciate it. Chris, always a pleasure talking to you. We're not done because we're going to go play X-Wing after this.
Yeah, it's good to be here as always, Ed.
All right, and as always, guys, we do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, we'll have more members on the next episode. I think this is the Thursday that we can catch Chad next time. So I'm hoping to catch a wild Chad out in the wild. So, all right, so until next time, guys, as always, fly casual. Thank you once again for joining the Lack of Focus X-Wing podcast. Check out Dice Hate Productions for all of the latest episodes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next episode.